Well, you learned this morning the South African variant of the COVID-19 virus has been spotted in the U.S. for the first time.
So what does this mean? Joining us now is Dr. Zorba Paster, and later he's going to be taking your calls. Welcome back to the show, Zorba.
Hi, Zorba.
Good to be here.
Okay, so we learned about the Brazilian variant that was in Minnesota, and now we've got the South African variant.
Exactly.
Talk about this.
And the thing is, RNA viruses mutate all the time, just like influenza viruses. And so it's not unusual for these things to mutate and vary. The real issue is whether or not the immunization is going to protect us from the variants. Now, if we go to Dr. Anthony Fauci, he said there's very good research right now that shows, right now as we speak, that the immunizations that are out right now, the Pfizer and the Moderna immunizations, appear to work as well with either the Brazilian variant or the South African variant. But once again, time will tell. We're not really sure. Now, if you look from an influenza point of view, we know that influenza vaccine can vary based on how the influenza virus actually mutates. So hopefully the present vaccinations that we can get, if you can get them, are still going to be 95% effective.
Let's talk about the vaccinations. How hit and miss is this? I mean, people are in their 70s waiting for an announcement that they can get a shot.
Well, exactly. And what happened is the CDC said anyone over the age of 65 can now get vaccinated. But the issue is the age factor is a big risk. So people over 75 are at a greater risk from death or getting serious COVID-19, seriously ill from COVID-19 than people even 65. So many of the clinics have said we're going to start with people 75, and after we get through a number of them, we're actually open up to people 65. But there's individual variation on it, clinic by clinic, and once they're in drugstores, drugstore by drugstore. And that's why the whole thing appears to be a mess, because in fact it is a mess. And that's because we really don't have and have never had good national guidance, and actually we don't really have good state guidance. So right now it's talk to your provider, look on the My Chart from Epic, or give a call to find out what's going on and when you'll be able to get that vaccine.
Are you hearing anything about any adverse reactions to any of the vaccines that have been given out so far?
The usual reactions, a sore arm, just like you might get with a tetanus shot or with the shingle shot, especially with the second shot, a little bit worse. Chills, a little chills, really not in the way of fever. And the good news is we've now given the vaccine to hundreds of thousands to millions of people. If there were a very serious side effect, we should know that by now. Now, caution you, there are coincidental diseases that happen. So if you get a shot today and you get a heart attack tomorrow, you might have gotten a heart attack tomorrow anyway. So there's all this noise when you go into the internet. But the fact is, serious side effects have not been observed, but you have to stay around for 15 to 30 minutes after you get the shot to make sure you don't have an allergic reaction. And once again, if you have serious allergic reactions, anaphylaxis to other vaccines, you've got to talk to your doctor before you get vaccinated.
Now, we're told now to wear 2 masks. Is that correct?
Well, the reality is it's important to wear a mask. And if you can wear a surgical mask on top of a regular mask, it turns out to be even better. But the reality is it's so difficult for us to even put on a mask. For some people, they can't even get a simple mask on. So the answer is the better a mask is a mask that actually takes care of droplets, keeps you from getting droplets in there. The Wall Street Journal, if you Google it, talked about good masks versus better masks. But yeah, 2 masks are better than 1. But the fact is, 1 mask is much better than none.
Okay,
Absolutely.
and for those who are getting the shots, they still need to wear a mask.
Oh, 100%, because the study in Britain has shown that people who have gotten COVID, we're not talking about the vaccine, but people who have gotten COVID can still carry COVID in their nostrils. So the reality is we don't know whether or not after the immunization, whether or not you can still carry COVID and get it and spread it to someone else. So the answer is you still have to mask up, wash your hands, socially distance. That's still the reality of life.
All right, we're done asking questions. Now it's your turn. Call in at 270-9933 to talk to Dr. Zorba Paster. We'll get to your calls right after this.